Hey, it's Renee Keel, host of TradeIQ and Chief Operating Officer at BrokerBin, the leading B2B exchange for IT professionals, resellers, and wholesalers. I'm thrilled to introduce TradeIQ to you, the podcast that shares the economic stories of IT hardware resale. Each episode, I interview an industry leader who embodies what it takes to realize success in the ever-changing and highly competitive secondary IT market. What does it truly mean to be an ITAD provider? How do companies mitigate supply chain risks? How can your business thrive amidst changing market conditions that eat away at profit margins? Explore these topics and more on TradeIQ from BrokerBin.com. And while I have your attention, I want to personally invite you to attend a BrokerBin Roadshow. This biannual event brings together ITAD and ITAM providers, wholesalers, resellers, and service professionals all under one roof for 2.5 days of high-value networking. Where else can you make a true, authentic connection with other IT professionals in our industry? Join us in Europe in the spring and in the US in the fall. Learn more and register at BrokerBinRoadshow.com. How important is effective leadership in today's IT hardware market? To answer this question, I dive deep into the topic of leadership with two industry experts, Donovan and John Spagnuolo. Corey serves as President of Alta Technologies, headquartered in Plymouth, Minnesota, and John is the President of IQ Reseller based in Auburn, Alabama. Together, they have nearly 40 years of industry experience. Today, they lead with vision and purpose as their companies work to advance the circular economy through the reuse and resale of IT hardware. In all the change that our industry has faced and continues to face, Corey and John strive to effectively move their teams to embrace change and work with purpose. On this episode of TradeIQ, Corey, John, and I cover the ins and outs of effective leadership direct from the Alta Technologies warehouse. With all the ebbs and flows in our industry, they share solid advice for how leaders can help everyone in their organizations succeed in their roles and love what they do. Hi, hello. Hi, Corey. Hi, John.
Hello.
Morning.
How is everyone?
Fantastic.
Good. Doing good.
Thank you so much for coming up to Alta today and joining us.
We are here from the Alta warehouse.
Yeah.
I can't believe this. This is so exciting,
Awesome.
Corey.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this whole big setup. Wow.
It was
pretty cool.
I mean, if you think about when this idea came to fruition, or Corey technically had the idea, I was like, let's run with it.
Yeah.
And from a month ago to now, of how we got here and pulled this together so quickly.
Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. This
Absolutely.
is so cool.
And it's great to have you guys here to see what
here.
we're up to and
Yeah.
check out the facility.
Yeah, so fun. We love to be here. Well, to get started, why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Give us some fun facts.
That's
Corey.
good. Well, John, you flew in today, so why don't you start?
Okay.
I did fly in today. That was quite the adventure to get here, even though it should have been very simple. One thing I did learn today was planes run on iPads, and if iPads don't work, they have to print off over 1,000 documents before they can take off. And that takes about 2 hours to get those documents.
You think you'd have a second iPad
Right.
available.
You would think they do, but they ran out of those.
There's an opportunity for someone in this business to
There's a
sell
big
them those
There you
iPads.
go.
to sell some
That's
iPads
right.
to Delta right now, because apparently they have more pilots than they have iPads now.
Oh my
At this
gosh.
point, but Corey, I do want to thank you for hosting. This setup is wonderful. Your warehouse is beautiful as always, and the expansion too. I saw. I mean, it's really starting to come together nice. So congrats there.
Yeah.
With that. But for you those that don't know me though, I'm John with IQ Reseller. I've been at IQ Reseller for over 8 years now, where now I spearhead that company and take it into the next generation for the next 5 to 10 years with it.
And then I've been in the industry for over 15 years. I mean, there's nothing that I love more than talking about how we can help companies grow and maximize their value and providing service to the customer.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad to be here with you guys this morning. I'm Corey Donovan. I'm the president at Alta Technologies. And Alta has been in business for 30 years. Renee, we were honored to have you guys here to celebrate our big birthday this summer.
So fun.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
It was a great day.
It was a great day.
Unfortunately, we couldn't manage the weather,
That's
but
okay.
we had an amazing turnout.
We had so much fun and
Yeah.
good food. And I was talking earlier about all the treats, the desserts. I still think of them.
Nice. We have this incredible culture here. Some of our employees come from Eastern European,
Yes.
the best baked goods
Yes.
in the world.
Yes.
And they're
good.
so proud. And there have been times, where I've put on weight just because someone will come to me and I'll be like, I can't have the cake today. And Eugene will say to me,
This is later though.
I spent 6 hours making this cake.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'll have a piece, right?
That's funny. On the way up here, Melissa and I were chatting about how we should
cut back on sugar coming into the holidays. And then we got here and it was like, have all these donuts.
We've got to take care of
Yeah,
you guys when you
that's
come to
right.
town.
I think that's the worst possible time to
Cut back on sugar now with the Thanksgiving and Christmas starting to come up though too. High in January at that point, and now this is like when it's just full-fledged sugar. Like your diet is 80% sugar and the rest is 20%, maybe something healthy.
Yeah, right.
So I would hope the majority of your listeners know what we do. We're a company that refurbishes for reuse data center hardware.
Yes.
A few years ago, we became R2 certified. We're also ISO 9001, 14001, and 45001.
Yeah.
And that's really due to the partners that need us to be R2 to continue to work with us. But that's responsible recycling. I'd say we're responsible reuse because we're aiming for over 95% of reuse of the goods that we bring in.
Love it.
We're doing a lot of ITAD these days. That's a big reason for the expansion. You can see the piles starting to pile up over here of equipment that we're triaging. But here in the warehouse, we've got over 1 million systems and parts ready to ship. We ship about 1,500 items a day. And over 50% of those go out with a blind drop shipping label because we're really a resale first company and that we're primarily selling through partners, service providers, other brokers. It's a great thing about this industry and really where we are here in Minnesota. I've called it the circular cities. We've actually started to lean into that.
Yes.
And we just have an awesome team. Some people have been with us for decades. So, we're excited to be a part of BrokerBin and also an IQ client here. And so we got the team together.
Yeah, that was something I actually wanted to say too. So those of you who know,
I never push IQ reseller. I always just say, let me sell you on the trust that what I can do for you, what I can do for you. But IQ's been used here for Alta for almost, I want to say 16 plus years, maybe longer as well too. I do want to say thank you for your commitment to IQ Reseller, your business, your partnership, and also your friendship as well, too.
Absolutely. And I appreciate the support you've given us and your whole team at allowing us to maximize the use of it and to continue to work and iterate on the product.
Thank you.
So it's great. But one thing, a new area, we talked about servers, networking, and storage. On the table with us, we have a couple NVIDIA A100 GPUs.
I know.
It's fun to see these start to hit our dock. We'll talk more about that later.
Yeah.
But we're really excited about this new opportunity.
Yeah. I can't believe I'm in a position to say this, but I'm so excited I got to hold that. I never thought that would give me so much joy.
Everyone
So
here had to take a
fun.
picture with it once they first hit the docks. And we
so
sold
cool.
through a couple dozen now.
So cool.
Well, wait till you get 100 dozen.
Yeah.
That time will come.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of that, let's talk a little bit about what's currently happening in the industry and what surprised you guys about what's going on in the industry. Anything as of late?
Yeah. I would say that we're seeing increased activity.
Yeah.
I love to see it.
We all love to see it.
We sell again through so many partners, so we get this purview. And I know, John, you have the same thing dealing with so many people that you get to see the growth or the dip, depending on what's going on. And after a couple years of decline, I've heard people refer to it as the server recession, where, of course, the world's going bonkers buying AI GPUs, but they're not buying core infrastructure because so much of the focus has shifted to AI. And those core infrastructure projects, in my opinion, are backlogged. And I believe they're starting to go through. Maybe people are looking at refurb to save money, extend life. And so we're seeing a nice just uptick in activity. It's not back to the COVID days or anything, but it's very steady, very solid. So that's been great to see.
Yeah.
Are you seeing similar things,
no,
John?
yeah, I was going to say, so being on the software side in a service provider for resellers, ITADs.
Like yourself, though, I'm starting to see the activity start to come as well. Also, as a cloud-based software system, I'm starting to see consumption use actually come back up as though through COVID, it went through the roof. Like we saw record numbers of usage. The company saw record numbers of signups as well, too. And then, of course, a couple of years after COVID, Corey, you probably saw that it kind of come down, too. I know a lot of people said like a recession with it. I thought it was more of a healthy correction because it was kind of going bonkers for a while. I was like, this can't sustain forever with it.
It was artificial.
I was like, this can't sustain forever with it. So I was happy to kind of see that kind of correction. I know some
industries are not, of course. It's just like the stock market, like it is right now. It has to go through a healthy correction. And now to kind of see that uptick, especially I think the last 2 quarters, it's really kind of begun to climb up. And I think a lot of it that is a lot of the corporations, they are starting to get rid of some of the product that they had ordered and hoarded and bought and just grabbed during COVID and put in the environment. then realized, hey, we have too much stuff here. Maybe we have to start it clean, because also that's higher power consumption they're going to use too. So that's just starting to come back as well, which getting new age product in allows you to resell or refurbish back out to help support some of the product that's better for the environment. So I think it's I think the life cycle for refurbishment is starting to go full circle once again too, and it's really starting to become healthy again. So that's good.
Iron Mountain recently backed up. They're a public company that operates within our industry as an ITAD, and their public numbers showed incredible growth within their ITAD division, and that's kudos to them and Dave Manning and the crew over there.
Absolutely.
But they showed, that I think at this point about a third of their business is through ITAD, and one of the items they cited was my surprise for the year, which was the increase in demand and price for memory. I did not see the OEMs cutting off the manufacture of DDR4 memory at the same time as there's still demand.
Yeah.
There's so much demand from AI, and they're looking to build the future with DDR6 and DDR5 and high bandwidth memory. But DDR4 seems like we just don't have time for it, even though there's still demand. And so where are they going to go for secondary demand is to the secondary market.
Yes.
And we've seen that hit. And it's actually a challenge for us. And it's a great opportunity. We certainly are selling memory like crazy, but we almost have to be careful about restricting our sales so that we have enough memory for our builds. We have customers that need sometimes 100 servers custom built within 2 days. If we don't have the memory for that, it's a challenge. Also, if we coded the memory 2 weeks ago and memory shot up 30%, we have to order that in.
Oh my gosh.
Our margin eroded, disappeared, or even went negative on some of these deals, but we still fulfill for the client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a good problem to have, but also
that's right. We'll take demand.
We'll take
there's always good problems and there's bad problems, and hopefully have more good problems.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that caught a lot of people actually off surprise when the OEM said, we're just not going to do this no more. But coming from the OEM side of things, I guess it probably made more financial sense to push that out there. But on the retail side, though, I mean, that is a wave right now that was probably welcomed by many, because that came up so unexpected. I mean it, pushed prices up to there. So with that, I think that started the upward trend we've seen.
It helps you offer stronger, make stronger offers to your ITAD clients and your ITAD partners that we can put more on the hardware because of the memory inside of it as well. So that might even be driving some of the refresh happening because they know the opportunity is there right now. But it's going to be really interesting.
Exciting times.
And no one really knows how long it'll go on for. How long will the DDR4 demand, and will this eventually affect DDR5? I think it's going to be restrained for, just gut feeling, no one knows, but for at least several months.
Come on, Corey, you're telling me you don't have a crystal ball?
I would like to say 3 years because it's going to help everyone in this business.
But, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I just read an article yesterday about like the whole AI boom and, what that's going to look like and how people are going to prepare for it after like a boom, right? Or when the next. And so can you guys speak to that a little bit? Like so we've got this boom for the next couple of years, and then what do you, I know you just said you don't have a crysel ball, but how are you preparing? How is Ulta preparing for?
John said I don't.
Oh, okay.
I bet he does.
But John does. Okay.
There's no crystal ball for it, but
I'm really excited about this AI boom. Like as being a software provider for the secondary market here, I'm telling everyone, this is your time now to start to plan and improve your processes, improve your software, where you need to improve upon, because I've now been in this industry long enough where I've seen it go up, I've seen it go down, I've seen it go up, I've seen it go unexpectedly way up through COVID, which I never would have thought what we saw there was what would have happened. I've seen it go down, and what I'm seeing again is another upward trend of where you have that old generation product coming out. And I think in several years now, this AI boom is going to hit the secondary market, and I think there's a massive opportunity here. Those that are it's a little slow, you got to hang on though. But this is a time that I always say, this is really the time that I always say that this is the really time to prepare for business for that next round that's coming. Don't stop, don't call it, look at really where you can improve upon and improve your business at. This is a really very critical time, especially if you want to be a leader within the industry. This is really the time to start planning for that opportunity.
Yeah, I love that.
So.
And it's coming. May it be so, right?
Well,
it's absolutely coming. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. Our industry hasn't had the ability to participate in the AI boom that's been going on for 2 or 3 years.
Right.
I mean, just down the street from us is Danfoss. They do power and cooling those companies have been going gangbusters.
Yes.
And so many industries are, but in the secondary market,
Right.
everybody asks me about AI when I go to events, and I'm like, we just
I
aren't
know,
there yet,
I know,
right?
yeah.
But it's starting to happen now.
Starting,
As
yeah.
you know, we've gotten in some of the GPUs. This is just the beginning.
I
You said,
know.
we've gotten a few dozen. Wait till you get a few hundred. I think a few thousand,
Oh, you got
thousands.
tons of them
Right?
too.
There's
Yeah.
gonna be a deluge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, if you look at the like not to kind of go back to new because we want to promote reuse,
Right,
of course,
of
though
course,
too. But
yeah.
if you look at the earning release from NVIDIA yesterday,
Oh, I know.
is if you look at their forecast, another $500 billion over
I know,
the course of
they're
another,
already-
what they say, 18 months. That just shows you that demand's going to be there.
And that's only the tier 1 companies out there that can afford it. What about the tier 2, tier 3, or tier 4 out there where they have to look to the secondary market just trying to get their hands on product like this? So that demand is only going to continue to grow and grow and grow with it too, though, and it's going to allow the value of the secondary items to be sustainable for much longer as well too, because there's so much going to be available then.
We've had some conversations with the hyperscalers and the cloud companies, and there's tiering of those use cases, but there's also tiering within the company. So for certain, maybe it's not for training, but for actual processing, they can use a different tier of GPUs. So they can
Okay.
still use the A100s, which are the oldest GPU that we have here,
Okay.
for specific use cases, while they're using the HB200s for the latest and greatest
Okay.
high capacity demand. And
Okay.
so I just think there's going to be a boatload of demand.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the areas that they see AI growing in the coming years is in what they call world models.
Okay.
So the head of Google's AI just talked about this, and it's essentially, large language models are this big explosion right now. But most people think there's going to be a limit on what that can actually do within AI.
Okay.
World models will develop, which are actually like using video and environmental reference to figure things out. And if I were to think about it like large language models in time, I think we'll think of like the voice box in the mouth of AI. And eventually these world models will be the body.
Wow.
And they're going to power robotics. They're going to need tons of video. That means a lot of hard drive
Yeah.
demand in the coming years. Right. And so the beat goes on.
Yeah.
And progress is not going to stop with
Yeah.
this. We might have a crash at some point, but it's going to be a dip in the road.
It's never a crash. It's always healthy correction. I mean, they really are healthy corrections, and they present time of opportunity. I kind of want to go to like AI, like we're talking about the AI that's booming and what's out there already.
But there's also a lot of opportunity with AI within our industry for organizations to help streamline their process as well,
Yeah,
too. So I'm going to
absolutely.
make a small little plug here
Yeah.
and kind of announce something that we're actually working on.
Okay.
Okay.
That's going to help companies like Alta that will be able to help streamline. So AI has been a great tool for reporting. I'm sure you use AI, and I know, Corey, with your knowledge that you will definitely build some incredible reports.
I know you're extracting your data out of IQ like you should be, and using AI to build those reports, but no one's really looking at how I can help operations in the back of the facility, where there's a lot of cost back here and a lot of cost per touch as well too. We're actually developing a tool now that's going to allow you to take a picture of a dumb asset and call them like non-data bearing asset. They'll actually be able to identify exactly what that item is, give a recommended condition based off of what you have in the past, import all that data right into IQ Reseller, where you can like type it or select it at the end of the point, to where we're going to take AI at that point and allow those dummy assets to become smart, to where you almost like how you can plug and play with a lot of your servers and push that item right in there. So hopefully that allows your processes to be set up here with that. And then being said, that too is that causes then a bunch of cloud-based assets and more computer components are going to be needed with it, of course, with it. But I think the advantage that it's going to have to manage our assets, definitely huge potential there. And I think something welcome out of the ITED space as well too.
Well, I'll be excited to check that out and let me
Yeah.
know if you need a demo use case. I always
Absolutely,
like to
Corey.
tinker with things.
You'll be
Yeah.
fun to know with it.
And I'll show you a couple of things we're doing operationally here. I think you'll find interesting
Awesome.
too.
Yeah.
cool.
So
see it.
That's really cool.
I think it's important to talk about the responsibility, though, when it
Yeah.
comes to handling AI assets in the
Yes.
future.
Yes.
These are heavily regulated. I don't know that everyone's aware of that.
Okay.
There are limitations to the countries they can ship to, and we're really taking
yes.
a United States only approach right now.
Okay.
Because you have to be so careful.
Yeah.
And you also have to make sure that these assets aren't then being transferred out of country, because that will trace its way back to you. And so considering the ethics and the rules around this, like being an ASCDI board member, I know this is going to be a conversation for us.
Yes.
So you have to be really careful with the resale. The former head of Google, Eric Schmidt, he's talked about how he believes in time, we're going to know where every GPU in the world is.
Oh
like
my
these
gosh.
assets are going to become like at a level of a nuclear asset,
Oh my
of being
gosh.
careful of how they're being distributed because they're
Right.
so important to national security
Yeah,
that
exactly.
we have to be absolutely,
Yeah.
it's absolutely crucial that
Yep.
we know where the hardware is going.
Yeah.
So that changes the game a little bit.
It really does. And I can tell you that there are BrokerBin members who are working through that today, trying to figure that out, trying to navigate and like understand how this is gonna work and how it's gonna change the game. And
It's a brave new world.
It is a brave new world. It's exciting. Do you guys remember when you couldn't even like take more than a 2-minute video on your iPhone? Like it doesn't seem that long ago.
Well, what was that?
Oh my
app that's
gosh.
coming back that you can only do 6 seconds or something.
Oh,
Um,
I don't know.
Vine was it?
Vine,
It was-
Vines.
Coming back or something like that. Like they can only do 6 seconds or something, and now the average you can go on any social media site is minutes.
Well, they say our attention span is like 1.57 seconons, right? Squirrel.
Squirrel, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But from a high of 20 years ago of
Yeah.
like 12 seconds. So
Yeah.
it's
Oh
changing.
my goodness. Oh my goodness.
You know, it's kind of going back to, remember a long time ago to where you wait till 9 o'clock to have unlimited talk time on your phone, and now you have completely unlimited talking and you don't talk at all. That's about it.
Yeah, right. That's exactly right. Now it's like we better get off that phone by 9 o'clock and just
Yeah, we
like
don't
let
want
our
our hands
brains
on it.
rest. Like, yeah. Well, let's talk a bit about sustainability, you guys, and tell me do you feel like this is just a buzzword? Do you feel like this is really happening? We're going to make this happen in the industry, and what are IT leaders doing to ensure that we are becoming a sustainable, or we're encouraging sustainability in our industry?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say no, it's not a buzzword. I would say maybe 4 or 5 years ago, there was a little more of a buzzword at that point. It was coming. Like, I remember when I was at an ITAD, running that ITAD in and signing up new deals, and that financial institution where you have legal and IT involved. And at that time, there were environmental, so it was kind of getting around at that point, and it kind of went away for a second. But in the last, I think 5 years, sustainability is it's just now getting to the forefront, and it's going to continue, and it's going to become definitely, I think, one of the leading topics in every conversation. So no, I don't think it's going to go away. Some people may think it's gone for right this second. I can argue the fact that maybe within the United States, but I can tell you, being that IQ is global, we do a lot of business with Europe, Canada, UK as well too. Sustainability is light years ahead there than it is here, and we're just a little bit slower to adopt that at this point. But I think it's all large Fortune 500 companies right now. Absolutely, that is on everyone's desk right now, and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. I'll say yes and no. And the no is really unfortunate, a lot of what John talked about. But the yes, we'll start with that, is that our employees care about it.
Yeah.
I mean, the purpose that we have as a company really matters. I mean,
yes.
these amazing technicians. You saw our mural,
Yes, I love that
the
mural.
80s heavy metal, because we think our people are they're hardcore.
Yeah,
They're fighting the
right
man.
to repair tattoo.
That's right. Yeah. They're the reanimators who are
Yes.
keeping old gear working, and they care. It matters to us. We can work in so many different industries, but we choose to do this because it matters to us. Our
does matter.
purpose statement is extend life and unlock value, and that means so
Yeah.
many different things. I would say it also, John said before we started that great to have the warehouse behind us. This isn't the sexiest industry, but you've become more interesting to people at conferences when you say you're in circularity.
Yeah.
So it matters to a lot of the folks at these major companies from a standpoint of maybe not the sustainability part, but like, why let good equipment go to waste?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
we talked about the memory earlier. I feel terrible about home labbers who now are having to pay like triple the prices they did for a home lab server because the memory is just so expensive. But we need to be able to get equipment to them so they can train and learn and become, the IT people of tomorrow.
Yeah.
And tinker. But yeah, so to people it matters face to face, but it doesn't matter when it comes time to buy. It just doesn't in the United States right now. Unless you're at a hyperscaler with certain goals to meet. To your average kind of mid-size to enterprise company, they care about price, delivery, support, and then maybe kind of sustainability. They feel good about it, but they don't drive buying yet.
Right. They don't drive behind it. Although, you know, buying from the secondary market actually does hit all those other points you were saying. So sustainability just sort of comes along with it, right?
We have to drive our purpose through good deals and good support.
Yep.
And know we're doing good work here, right?
Right.
And so that's where we have to get to and keep.
Yep.
Hopefully, people continue to see the benefit to the earth because we're making mountains of waste.
Oh my gosh, I know. I know. Right.
So it's on both sides, right? It's on like people considering buying used to extend their systems, but also to make sure that the equipment is going downstream to someone who cares about reuse.
Yes.
Recycling is great. There's a lot of material loss in the process. That's why even the R2 certification talks about reuse as the highest form of recycling. And so we really care about that here.
Yeah, that's great. And speaking of, especially in Europe, I mean, there are now regulations, right, about a certain percentage of infrastructure needs to be.
Yeah, and a lot of that's going live, I believe now too, or going live in the next couple of years as well too, and it will trickle down. I absolutely believe it will start to trickle over here, and just a lot of interesting stuff going on right now though too. But I mean, let's face it, our economies are all interlocked at this point. So if they're passing rules and regulations involved too, I mean, businesses here aren't going to say, well, we're just not going to say, well, we're not going to make 500 million or $1 billion. I mean, that's not going to happen. So after, they're just going to have to abide to it, which here, and to go to that point, what Corey said earlier too about good ethics. And if you want to be a good ethical company, that's something that you, especially in this space as well too, have to do. I mean, Corey, you've been in this for a long time. I mean, I remember 15 years ago, and it's progressing, and to kind of see where it's at now, I think it's incredible. And I think we're going to be further in 10 years too. And it's really going to cure what was some of the bad ethics and kind of the, what drives the industry to have a bad name, and what it needs to do to do it correctly.
Yeah.
We see consolidation happening. We see big players getting into the market. Companies that look to the future, that care about their reputation, their sustainability. They know they're creating mountains of waste. And I'm talking about the hyperscalers and some of the OEMs.
Yeah.
They're diving into our market, and they're going to care about that businesses operate the right way. I'm sure in time, I wouldn't be surprised if you have Microsoft and Google and Amazon as members of BrokerBin trading equipment, because they're building their own circular centers. Members like Celestica are already on there. They're operating as an ITAD, and they make OEM servers, they make white box servers, ODM servers for these hyperscalers, and they're realizing they need to care about sustainability. And Laura Schmidt is doing a great job there at Celestica. Incredible hire by them, and other companies like YWin and are getting into this space too. And I think it's only going to grow. And the ethics are going to be a big part of it.
Right.
Especially if you want to do business and get that equipment that comes off of line or at the end of life of those large companies, you're going to have good ethics to do business with them. It's no more of, hey, I'm gonna pick up these at the back of the
dock there and just go away. Those days are done, and I'm glad those days are done too.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still a little bit of the Wild West, I would say.
a lot better than it was a long time ago.
Exists on the edges, and hey, kudos to you guys. The latest inventory feature,
Yes, okay.
absolutely, our team loves that, to
Oh,
see
good.
that
I'm
you're
so
vetting
glad.
people and have inventory. I mean, there's a place for everyone, but also to kind of say where you are in the world, as
This
far as we're
inventory
willing to
is-
show you we have the goods.
Yep, we're willing to show you it's on site, and that's coming into play too, like what we were talking about earlier. If we're only selling in the U.S. or we're only dealing geographically, or we're not going to ship, you need to know where the parts are. You need to know where the product is. You
And
just
John's
need
had
to know.
RTI forever, and we've always been a member of that too.
Yeah.
And from the early days, because it matters so much that we're authentic, that we have the equipment in our ERP, so it shows up in BrokerBin and people know it.
Yep, exactly.
Transparency is, I mean, a great thing. I mean, like I always say, this industry, it's nothing but partnerships, and it hits one large community. I mean, everyone knows everyone, and like what I was saying to you earlier, Corey, like it's a big benefit to be here with so many. It could be competitors, yes and no in my eyes, but to me, I think it's more of a healthy partnerships that you have, because you guys can all work together, which really makes you such a strong suit here, because there's so many.
here in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
We're really
Circular
fortunate.
City,
Yeah.
as Corey has coined it.
And, outside of Hong Kong and the Eastern Hemisphere and the Western Hemisphere, Minneapolis has really become a hub, and we have this partnership relationship. It's not as competitive as it is in some other regions, and we do benefit from it, and we share business with one another, and in a way have shared inventory. So it's really beneficial.
Yes, I love that. Well, shifting gears a little bit, you guys, let's talk about leadership styles. Tell me how you would describe your leadership style.
I'll let you go first, Corey, because I know our leadership styles are probably as we're definitely industry leaders, and as everyone loves us as well too. I bet we're also just a little bit different than each other, and that's a good thing.
I think it is like all, individuals are different, and leadership style, I hear my team laughing. And part of it is knowing your strengths and knowing where you don't have strength, right? It's in the end, it's all about your people.
Yes.
And I believe in hiring great people and letting them do what they want to do.
Yes.
I know that I absolutely suck at so many things, and part of it is gaining traction. I love to ideate, invent, come up with ideas, but and get them started, but I'm not the person to carry it on for the next 2 years. But we have amazing people who do that here. And so my style is, again, find amazing people, stay out of their way, give them the resources that they need, and make sure that they feel taken care of and supported.
Yeah, and look what happens. This beautifully organized warehouse.
We talk a lot about servant leadership.
I love it.
And I think the more people that you have in your company, the more people you work for.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And I don't actually do work for them, do their jobs, but I help give them what they need.
The resources.
That's
exactly.
right. And make sure they're taken care of.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Are you familiar with, it's Patrick Lencioni's 6 Working Geniuses?
Yeah, I've read all of Lencioni's stuff.
Okay, I love him.
I'm a ID, inventor,
I was gonna
discerner.
Say okay, yep. Okay.
Yeah, which means
inventor, discerner. So you don't do Wonder?
I have Wonder in my secondary one, but that's my next one.
Okay.
But as a leadership team, we've all done Working Genius.
Great.
And
I love
it's
it.
great to see that we have completely different skills and also know where we can carry the water for one another. But it's great to have that insight.
Yes, I love that. Love that.
So to add on, and just to add to that point, I don't see myself as a leader at IQ Reseller at that point. I mean, we're definitely a team, and if it wasn't for the team, IQ would not be where it is today. To be quite frank with is I know there are certain things that I'm good at, but I also know that there are a lot of things that I'm bad at, and I know that I'm bad at it, but I have other people that are great at it, and I want them to excel and stay out of their way potentially. The only thing is there more of, let me know what you need to make you successful at that point, and I will put people before myself any day at that point. Because I know at that point, if you have a good working relationship with all of your team members as well, at that point you'll be successful. I feel like trusting my team. I mean, people say, are you ever worried about that vendor or customer relationship or employee? We're all on the same level. I feel at that point we'll all get to know each other to where we have that trust. I always say, if you can't trust someone, and I give them a complete autonomy to make their own decisions, is they know, and if there's a problem at that point, they know at that point, okay, we're gonna figure out a way. There's no wrongdoing. We're gonna learn from that lesson at that point, and you treat it as a lesson learned at that point too. So I don't see myself as the president or nothing like that. I see myself as, okay, what can I do to make you stronger? Especially I have a younger guy working with us, Chris, as well too. This second job, now he's raising a family as well too. And I remember when I was at a resource at the ITAD, there was an older gentleman. I think I was saying this on the last time. He kind of took me under his wing and taught me a lot as well too. And I see the same opportunity for Chris as well too. And I'm sure he thinks, excuse my language, I'm an asshole to him, but really at this point I'm teaching him a really valuable lesson. And I see from where he started with us and where he's at today. And I think there's where he's going to be in a couple of years as well too. It's absolutely, and he's also self-taught too. I always say, if someone's hungry and they want to learn, I have no problem with them.
Vince Lombardi of your beloved Packers.
Yes.
He has a great quote that I love, is you don't have to like all of your people all the time, but you have to love them all.
Yes.
And love, anything in that sense means like giving them what they need, giving them the
100%.
support that they need.
Yes.
Sometimes it is the tough conversation or, you know, kicking someone's butt to like get them across the finish line. You know, they want to get across.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that is a big part of it for sure.
That's a huge part.
Right.
Of
That's a love that's like based in caring for somebody.
Yep.
Right. And supporting where they want to go.
Yep. Exactly.
Have you guys heard of the inverted pyramid of leadership, where it's like the classic military pyramid is the general is at the top,
Okay.
and then you have, you know, whatever the different levels, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
but if you think of it in a business, and that's how a lot of businesses were run for years, and still sometimes are, is you take that general approach, and then you have your VPs and your managers, and then your workers that are working at actually on the equipment or at the line level, and you have the pyramid go that way. Your customers are at the bottom.
Yeah.
But if you invert that pyramid and everybody's supporting up. Right? At the top are your customers, and everyone's not pointed to the general, they're pointed to the customers.
Yes.
And that's, you know, ultimately, I don't know how great a job we do our best, but that's where we want to be, is that we all care about the customer, deliver for them first.
Yeah. I love that.
I agree that customers are first. I always listen to your customers as well too, and that's the same thing as like people are saying like, okay, we have a problem here, or just do we really have a problem? Or is the customer providing us feedback on what maybe we can do better at this point? At an IQ reseller, I always look at more of customer feedback. I love customer feedback, whether it's good, bad, or they're just angry, or maybe they just want to vent at that point. Like, I'll get feedback, because if nobody said anything and there were no complaints or nothing, I would be more worried than anything, to be honest with you. And I love hearing about feedback, like I said, because I know then what's the direction that IQ can go. I can dream up ideas all day long, and so go build them. But if no one is going to do anything with them, what's the point? So it's the user's feedback I want, and people I really love hearing the most from, that call me up as well too, or put in a support ticket with us. It's guys on the shop floor. It's no offense, Corey, not here in front of upper management, just like you're talking. I love people because they're the ones that they're the doers of the company, and they're the ones who get stuff done at that point too. And they can see things much differently than we can.
They're closest to the problem or the opportunity. And John, I love that I can call you and bring something up if it's critical or crucial. And but I see how, you know, your leadership floats down to the Judys and the Almas and the Cliffs that we talk to regularly and do a fantastic job. And that's what it's about. People, I don't know, Renee, we're here at Alta. Would you mind if I just give kudos to some of our team?
Let's
All right,
do
let me go grab a few people. It's still early in the morning, so not everyone's here yet, but I'll see who we can round up.
That would be great.
All right, great.
Okay, Corey, we got the whole team here.
So this is an absolute honor to have, you know, the team join here, because this is who it's really all about. This is what makes Alta happen. I joined Alta 4 years ago, and it's my, you know, great opportunity to continue the legacy and the great culture that we have here that these people have all made happen. So some folks, you know, a lot of these folks aren't the individuals that people interface with every day, but we have a few people here. Vadim is a longtime product manager for us. John Selleck right here, legend of the industry as well. Mike Brokowski of our networking division. TJ Moser does Supermicro for us. And Mike Kazuki does Lenovo and NetApp and IBM. So a lot of familiar faces to people who interact with us every day. But it's really the whole team that makes it happen. And so I appreciate you guys joining us this morning, because this is what it's all about.
Yeah, it's so fun. So fun to see everyone. Awesome.
Great. Give it up for your...
Great. Yes. Good work, man. Good work. Beautiful warehouse.
Do we have any other product managers here? I just kind of looked. All right, thanks guys. They all know these guys from interacting with them, but I appreciate everybody stepping in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. All right.
Work. So, do you guys feel like you were born leaders, or do you have an experience that happened to you at some point in your life where you felt like, oh my gosh, I really have to step up, and now I feel like this is where my calling is at?
I just feel like we fall upwards.
I feel there's not like feel with it to me. I just more like, I always felt like the more you push
yourself outside your comfort zone, the more opportunities you present yourself. Like, always growing up, I was always actually a very shy person. Didn't really speak much.
Really?
Yeah, I was very shy all the way through like grade school and like junior high and even parts of high school as well too. And then somehow kind of broke out, where when I always felt like the more you push yourself outside your comfort zone, the more you just kind of grow with it. I also just kind of feel like you don't fall into this space either. And so everything has to line up right, and you kind of stumble into it. And if you try to leave, I mean,
I tried to leave. I got pulled right back into it. So
Yeah.
it's more.
but I also enjoy like challenging myself every day. I mean, there's times that there's not a challenge or a problem, something that I can't solve.
Yeah.
Never a boring day at that point, because then you'll learn from that. Like, okay, what could I have done better, or what could have caused it to happen, or what could I have done to prevent that from happening?
So all those things.
Yeah.
Well, is there a big moment? There's not. It's all of these moments, right? And a lot of them come down to people allowing you to fail, right? To make mistakes and to keep learning from it and growing. And I try to remember that with our people here too. Is like we have to give them the opportunities to lead and allow it not to go perfectly, right? And that's a hard thing sometimes in leadership. There's certain jobs, you could do a lot of different jobs yourself.
Yep.
And it's sometimes easy to hand off the ones I'm terrible at. I'm not an accountant. I couldn't never, balance our books and do all of it. I can review it, but I'm not going to be the one to do it every day.
Yep.
But it gets really hard in the areas you give up that you actually enjoy or think you have some skill in.
Yes.
But handing it off empowers the next person.
Yep.
And to let them make the mistakes that you're like, oh, I would never do that. Maybe you still would, right?
Yep.
Or you did at some point in your life.
Yep.
That you have to give that up. And like, I'm just curious, I'm always interested in trying new things. And I've been the one to sign up and say, sure, I'll do it. I was at University of Minnesota. I say I majored in student activities because it's like, oh, I could go and be a football recruiter. That sounds fun.
Oh, that's great.
And I would sign up for sometimes 15 things a quarter.
Yeah.
So I've always been interested in raising my hand and then probably failing, spectacularly. But you learn from it and you just try to improve.
Yeah.
And I think that's essential.
Yeah.
To be honest with you too, it's like
I always get asked about successes and failures, and I don't know about you, Corey, but for some reason I can't remember a lot of great successes where I go, wow, that's incredible with that. But what I can remember is all the times I've failed. But I think that's always a good thing, because I always tell everyone it's 1,000 no's to get to every yes. And so you learn so much more about yourself, about where you should be going, where the company should be going, directed by those things. So it's more, I welcome more of the failures because you really can learn from those. I mean, it can be depressing. I mean, it can suck. Don't get me wrong. And you have days where you're like, oh man, that was a bad thing that happened. But it's like, how can you better yourself, and where can you find the root of what happened in that failure to carry on with? I mean, personally, I don't want to say that no, we don't have failure all the time, but failures can definitely be a good thing, and I think it's definitely a good moment to grow from. I mean, I would say anyone out there that's just going into business or growing a business at that point, welcome your failures. Don't get discouraged. Don't get bummed out about it, and walk away and improve upon yourself, your company, your workers as well too. I mean, you can't learn that in college.
No. 100%.
That endurance is huge,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
You have to realize that
Yep.
things you're gonna have good things, and more often you're gonna have challenges.
Yep,
and
that's right.
if you can endure through them, that's a big part of it. It's almost like a muscle you build over time.
Yep,
Is
that's
to
right.
figure out how to just continue to solve problems.
Yeah.
Because that's business,
Yeah,
that's life.
That's business, that's life. I listened to a podcast with Sarah Blakely. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but she's the founder of Spanx.
Yeah.
Okay. and she was telling the story about how when she was growing up, her father would say at the dinner table, "What did you fail at today?" And that's what they were applauded for as kids. Meaning, like, what did you try at? Like, what are you out there trying to do? And it's a good thing if you're failing. That means you're trying. And so then she kind of, talked about how she was selling on her own out of her apartment and going to department stores and all these things, trying to sell these Spanx that she made at home or whatever. But she kind of like credits that mentality of her dad.
You take chances, and if I believe I've heard this too, is her biggest win was she brought like the head of Nordstrom's or Macy's into a bathroom and showed off the Spanx.
Yes, isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
We probably listened to the same story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good way to look at failure in terms of like that's you trying.
Yeah.
And if you're not failing, you're not trying, right?
Absolutely.
It goes back
Yeah.
to if you're not pushing yourself outside a comfort zone.
Yeah.
You're not experimenting yourself, you're definitely not growing. I mean,
Yeah.
I look at it. People always like, how do you feel when you're impatient, but it's like, don't get stressed over them no more, because I know is you got to stay calm and collected with it. And you're gonna figure it out. I mean, you're definitely gonna figure out a solution to it. It may not be right in that second, but if you apply yourself at that point and you have the right individuals to surround yourself to, I think surrounding yourself with the right people is absolutely key too. Like, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room ever, to be honest with you. And I'm never also the first person to speak either at that point, because I want to listen. If you have your eyes and your ears and take in everything you need to, you're going to learn a lot of stuff from that and apply that to when you are in those moments to help you succeed.
Yeah.
I hear my dad saying you have two ears and one mouth for a
Yes.
reason, right?
Yeah, that's right. That is right. That is right. Yeah. And I think about too that this whole idea of, if you don't know, like if I don't know, I'll find somebody who could. I mean, that mentality of like, of course we're not gonna. Nobody knows it all. Like nobody even knows close to it all, right? But having the mentality of like, we can figure it out. Like we'll find somebody who knows, or we'll go to the expert, or we'll, versus being, like I'm gonna know, or one person is gonna know all of these things. Like that's just not real.
When we're young in our career, we spend so much time trying to show how capable we are, how
Right.
smart we are. And I think as you get more opportunities and you get leadership positions, you realize like being authentic, showing hey, you don't know it all, they don't always have the answers, that sometimes you straight out suck. Helps you bond with your people and actually get things across the finish line by finding the person who can solve it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it goes back to like when Bill sold the company. For those that don't know, IQ Reseller was actually founded by a gentleman named Bill Blagan 25 years ago, actually. And when he sold the company off and retired, I was brought in with them to run this company. I never ran a software company in my life, to be honest with you. I knew ITAD. I knew how to resell product. I knew how these operations work. And I was a user of IQ Reseller at one time. And so just right there, it kind of goes back to finding the right people to surround yourself that you could rely on to perform certain things. I'm not a cloud expert. I'm not a programming expert, but I know how to relay a message from one person to that other person. So it makes sense from an apple to an orange at that point. And I know too, there's no such thing as a dumb question either, and really rely on the ones that are the expert. If you don't have the expert, that's right. Then go find one. Really coming back to figuring out that problem.
Exactly. What do you guys feel like are leadership skills that can be learned versus those that come naturally? Or do you feel like everything can be learned, or is there some natural traits? Can you teach? What things can you teach?
Some things can't be taught. I feel like some things more as you have to stumble upon those things and those opportunities, and the decisions you make in those moments will kind of make or break you a bit in it. Going back to, if you want to see yourself as a leader or an expert on a business owner at that point too, don't be scared to ask questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question. I still ask dumb questions all the time too. I mean, to Corey's point too.
Do I know accounting a little bit? Yeah, maybe accounting 101 is the best I can do with it, but I know that I have people, Judy and Alma, that I can rely on, and I've asked some pretty dumb questions on accounting before with it. So it's don't be scared to ask, and then it's kind of more of
finding the people that can help mentor you. I think the biggest asset you can have is a good mentor. Whether it's you feel that you do or don't at that point, is really start to look at yourself and ask, who has gone through the trenches, the battles, and try to find that person that can help mentor you. And more often than not, everyone's always open to talk about what they've gone through and to share their experience, whether it's not in IT or in retail. Could be owning a restaurant, owning property at some point, a business with it. And you can take their stories and apply it to there.
Sometimes I think that's actually the most valuable thing, is to get outside of your industry, right? And to look to other industries. Otherwise you get real stuck in like what we think, within our company or within our industry, but really use examples and take guidance from anywhere, especially when it comes to
So leadership means so many things, right? And you can have aptitude for certain areas that are innate and you were born with, and you should find those strengths and use them. But I think everyone has some strengths to lean into.
100%.
And some people are going to be more prone to go towards it. I mean, I think a growth mindset helps a lot rather than a fixed mindset if you're really going to progress. You can also learn that too, though, right? It's not easy, but if you're willing to, and that's a big deal, right? Willing to.
Yeah.
If you're willing to do something, it's like anything else. Someone getting clean off of drugs or alcohol.
Yes.
They have to say, I'm willing to do this now. And if you take that step or someone's willing to take that step, I think there's like an unbound opportunity to become whatever you want to be, including a leader.
Yeah.
But every leader is different, right? There's introverts and extroverts. There are people who have skills that are more, thinking versus feeling. And you see it across all the businesses, even in our industry. The leaders are so different. Doesn't mean one's better than the other. They just handle it differently. But I think as long as you commit to growth and continue to develop your skills and your strengths too, you can become the leader that you need to be, but always using your people. Always, making sure your people are first.
Yeah.
I think also never give up on your goals or your dreams, though.
If that's what you see yourself wanting to be or do or say, maybe I want to start a company or I'll work my way up the ladder and one day be the CEO of that company as well too. More power to you. Don't let anyone stop you at that point. But if you see yourself that you're comfortable in doing what you're doing at that point too, that's fine as well too. The company needs that, and you need to just surround yourself with those individuals.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
The question, like maybe, do I want to be a great leader, is maybe the wrong place to start from. Like if you've been pushed into leadership and you want to be better, I think you have to chunk it down. Like, what do you want to be great at next? Like, what do you want to develop and improve?
That's very
I want to be better at authenticity.
That's very
so I'm going to learn about this and try different approaches. And you talked about it earlier. You have to be willing to sometimes ask dumb questions or even try things that are awkward because getting the reps in is how you get there. But focus on maybe a specific area to improve maybe one quarter at a time.
Yeah. The interesting thing about being a leader is that what we might think is being a great leader is only true if people see that in you.
Right.
So it's kind of, it's tricky, right? Like you can't, like I couldn't say like, I'm going to be a great leader by doing these things necessarily if a team of people or a group of people I'm working with is like, no, that's not what we need. That's not what we need out of a leader. That's not what we're looking for out of you.
Listening is what it's all about.
Listening. And to go on your point too, what I was going to say is don't always just think your opinion or your thought is correct. I always say that the person someone that's in a leadership that only looks to their opinion as the right direction, those are ones that at that point their expiration date has started to come. It's time to kind of maybe start to look back. I read a book by the CEO of Disney, Bob Iger. And there was a famous quote of when he decided to step down was because he started to look at that he never thought of listening to other people's opinions anymore. So he realized at that point, his time has come that it was time to step down. And that always sticks with me too, as well as, I may have an idea or opinion on stuff there too, but you know what? I want to hear everyone else's ideas or opinion too. It's like coming out to the warehouse out here where you, like I was saying earlier, I like feedback from people that are on the floor because they're the ones that have their hands in it. They're the ones that are doing it as well too. So those are the opinions that actually you want to hear more, and then gathering all that information and using it to make your decisions. But don't be a person that always thinks your ideas and your alone matters because that's your style and leadership. I mean, I hate to be blunt, but you're going to fail.
Yeah.
And I think it's really helpful, of course, to make our decisions, to get the impressions from those closest to the problems and the challenges and opportunities, for sure. But actually, I think it's so much more important sometimes on getting buy-in, on getting the team to come along with you, right?
Yep.
If everyone has had a chance to chime in, to feel heard. Maybe you don't even go in their direction, but you listened and brought them along with it.
Right.
That's something I continue to work on, right? Sometimes we have to make quick decisions, and in hindsight, it's you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yep.
And I made a quick decision when I was like, we probably could have waited a day and I could have gotten more insight or a week or what have you.
Yeah.
Because it just tends to get the whole team on board and to go with you.
Yeah, and especially when you have a goal for the entire company or a mission, you need everyone playing their part to get there. And it's definitely much easier when everyone has bought into the
You guys
process.
bring up really
And
good points about buying it. That's one of the things of like how I said before, like I don't
Sell IQ Reseller, let others decide of what I'm telling you, what we can do and cannot do, and myself as well too, my experience with it. And one of the questions I always get asked is, what would be one of the things that we should not go with at that point? If you don't have buy-in in the software, don't do it. Because if look, at IQ Reseller, we're in a ERP that's designed for this industry, and we're the backbone, to Alta here, and we have so many tools that
I think we have two backbones right here. Yeah.
two backbones right here, exactly though too. But we're the source of truth to this. So I tell anyone I'm talking to is stop and think. Don't just say yes, I want to go forward with this. Is
think to yourself first. Do you have the buy-in? No, not just you though, but does every one of you in the organization have the buy-in? Same thing
Right.
when it comes to a process like, well, we just want to do how it works with IQ Reseller. No, that is completely incorrect to me, because I don't want it to be the way that works in IQ Reseller. I want to be your organization and the processes to be the culture of the company. So if you like doing it 4 steps longer, but that fits your culture, that's perfect. You're not going to have a loss of buy-in at that point. So it's the same thing with trying to be a good leader too. Same philosophy.
yeah, super interesting. I love the show Undercover Boss. You know that show?
Yeah.
For like these reasons, right? Because sometimes you think, okay, there's like an efficiency we can gain here or something we can gain there. But then when you get into it, there's like sometimes a reason for these, different steps or other things going on or something that we don't understand that is happening, at ground level, let's say, that needs to be a part of the domino effect to get something done. And we don't always understand that when we're focused on big picture. But you got to be focused on big. It's like everything from wonder down to tenacity, right?
Yeah.
And we need people in that whole entire sort of
Absolutely.
chain.
it kind of goes to like big picture as well in Cover Boss as well.
Yeah.
There could be a big picture topic that doesn't funnel its way up correctly to you at all.
Yeah.
It goes back to the point of I have to go out and talk with everyone and to stay up front that, that's not my job. No, your job is everything at that point. You're not just making decisions, you're talking. Even if it's a 10-minute conversation that really doesn't go anywhere at that point, that's still an important conversation to have, because there could be an issue that no one tells you about, and an underlying issue that could really wreak havoc on a company as well too. Sometimes it just doesn't make it to the top.
Make it to the top. Yeah.
Yeah. Surfacing those issues, you almost have to celebrate them when they come up too. Do people
Absolutely.
know they have the safety to
Oh,
bring things up
Open door.
and bring that up?
Yep.
Because otherwise we never know.
Yeah.
And there's a show, I think it's called The Studio with Seth Rogen right now
I
on
don't-
Apple.
Okay,
And
that's on my list.
Rogen
Okay.
becomes the head of the studio,
Okay.
and he's the worst boss. It's
Oh,
like
no.
highlighting all the things you shouldn't do. Like their whole team is afraid to always tell the people above them what's going on,
Oh,
like where it's
shoot.
almost comical.
Yeah.
And then you know how it ultimately goes is there's like a fight in the boardroom
Oh,
over
gosh.
someone finally, is sharing this truth like out loud. And at one point, Seth Rogen and Ron Howard are in a fight, like the nicest guy in Hollywood, because they finally told him what he thought when they
What?
could have just crossed it easily
Oh,
like
yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
And that's where you don't want to get to. And
No.
unfortunately, it happens,
It
right? And we all
happens.
just try to get
Yep.
better.
Yeah, that's right.
Hopefully not a fight in the boardroom.
No, yeah, no,
Yeah,
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 no,
no,
yeah,
no,
no
no,
fights,
Yeah,
no
no-
fights.
no.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I always say there is no bad problem. Like
Mm-hmm.
always just
It's an open door policy. Like at IQ Reseller, and I think people at IQ Reseller sometimes wonder, like, why do we have this meeting every Monday at 12:30?
and there's no right or wrong reason to have this. Not
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if we talk about work or nothing. Is I just force us to come together
Together.
because we're all remote and just talk. That's it. I
I don't
don't
care if it's Chris talking about the farm that he lives on and his wife bought another goose. We can talk about the goose. It's just, having us come together and just have conversation and talk and be friendly. Yes, we talk about work and bring that, because it's good to have those good problems. A lot of good things can come from those as well too. But also it's that water cooled talk that brings everyone together. So
So
just
important.
an hour I put every Monday
Yeah,
away
right.
to where we just talk, whether it's about how the Lions beat the Vikings or Green Bay at that time. Although it
What's
hasn't happened
happening?
this year though.
Green Bay beat Detroit. Okay,
let's. I mean, we always go back and forth with it, but it's conversations
Yeah.
like that, and then it
Right.
brings up other things within the business.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, as well
Yeah,
too.
it's very smart. It's actually what we really hope is happening at the road shows or any other industry event that members are attending, is that, with the networking events and that kind of thing, is like exactly what you're saying, is like the rapport that people are building, whether you're competitor. And I think you kind of touched on this earlier. I think we were on video when you talked about competitors, Corey's competitor. No, did we? Well, anyway.
A lot of things. I know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, that there isn't really competitors necessarily in this industry. There is, but you need to work together. You need to collaborate.
Community.
It's one big community that's so important, and you can only really build that trust with those kinds of conversations, and like we're understanding people's lives and where they're from and what else is going on and who their football alliance is. You know. Anyway. One of the things I like to say about being a leader that I think didn't come to me until I got older was that leaders really need the ability to be led, right? And I think sometimes we, at least for myself, you kind of get stuck in a role of like, okay, I'm going to lead the way, I'm going to lead the way, or I'll take charge or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then you just realize the value of being in a situation where you're being led, where you're letting team members lead you essentially, or even outside of your position, whether it's with kids at school or church opportunity or whatever. Like, allow yourselves to be led. I think you gain a lot of insight that way, being led yourself and letting people lead you. So anyway, okay, specific to our industry, and especially with all of the ebbs and flows in the secondary IT market, what, if any, advice do you guys have for IT leaders in our industry?
I don't know that I need to delineate just in our industry.
Okay,
I
sure.
mean, because it's, I think if you're a new leader, you need a network.
Yeah.
Like, not for building your career, it's to have other people to bounce ideas off of. I was fortunate enough, I know, John, you did too, was a Vistage member for a few years. It's a peer group for other people in the same chair as you, and you go to those meetings and you allow to solve problems between one another, to raise things you're dealing with that really no one else kind of knows how to relate to. I have a board and great relationship with it, but it's a different dynamic, and I have my employees and I like to talk to them about just about everything, but once in a while there's decisions that only the president or CEO is working with, and to have that network is really helpful. Having people outside of your industry is actually really helpful. Sometimes it surfaces new ideas for your business, but it's just great to relate to somebody so that you can serve your people better. So having that is crucial. And you don't have to join something like EO or Vistage to have that. You can just reach out to people that you know and say, hey, let's get together for coffee with a couple people and bounce ideas off each other.
Yeah, great.
So same to Corey's point as well. Actually, I was just going to say networking and talking with leaders in the industry too, as well too, is I don't think it's bad. I have good working relationships, to be honest with you, with my two other competitors in this industry, to be honest with you. In Ireland before, I had a couple of drinks with Bob from Razor and his wife. I know them on a first name basis.
I know Mark from Acor as well on a first name basis. I met him. We're here for coffee and talked to him. Shake his hand. I mean, I think competition is very healthy.
Yes.
Actually.
Yes, I agree
with it. But it's also, don't be scared to go ask other business owners those same questions.
I also think it's very important to network outside your industry as well too, no matter what it is, because they may see things different, especially if you're in something new, and or to grow with a fresh set of eyes, to kind of come in and just really ask. Another great thing, and I do this at your road shows as well too. Actually, any conference I go to is to go find other people to integrate in, or other partners I can work with to be able to introduce them into the IQ community as well too.
So I love yours is going out there and hunting down of who knew, because I like to see their take and just kind of talk and learn what they. Is there a way for us to work together, or if not, that's a great person to get to meet with. I had a guy when I was at the a conference a couple weeks ago in Ireland.
But he reached out to me and goes, hey, listen, I can't use IQ, but I want to introduce myself and learn a little more about you. Maybe there's a way to share what you do. And I see a lot of people that I work with or buy from that don't have an ERP software and are still in Excel. And I just want to be able to recommend someone. So it's the same thing of using your platform and your roadshows. Don't be scared to schedule that meeting and just introduce yourself at that time. I mean, I do it all the time, and that's the great thing about like the roadshows. And I'll give you a little
Plug here,
Yeah,
actually.
thank you.
Is more. It's not like it's not like, remember the old back in the days, maybe Corey, like you would have to go to these networking events and you have a name tag and you're in a room.
Yeah.
You gotta like be the awkward guy to walk up and shake someone's hand.
That's horrible. Like I had to do that stuff too. And now when you have an app and you can hunt those people down, you have a set time to talk, it makes it so much easier.
I love to hear that. And that's exactly the point of those things, is to, and not just to connect with somebody that you feel like, hey, I'm going to sell this to right now, or I need to buy from them right now. I mean, that's there too, obviously, those opportunities. But again, the connection, I mean, it's just,
Build a relationship.
it's just crucial. Yeah. It's just crucial. And I will say, a couple of years ago, I personally was feeling a little bit afraid for our industry, as like we had like a post-COVID boom, and then we had a slump, and just kind of everybody seemingly like withdrawing or coming inside, or not wanting to be like inside, meaning like not being engaging, whether at a BrokerBin roadshow or any other event, you know, and like especially a younger generation. I think I've probably talked to both of you about that, but like, man, we got to get back to connection. We got to get back to connection and engaging and reaching out and using whatever events or your team meeting weekly. You know, just amongst yourselves, it's so important.
We've been trying to show up at as many events as we can.
Yeah.
We always send a
Yep.
crew to
Yep.
BrokerBin, and
Yes.
it's a crucial place for us to be as a resale partner.
Yep.
You know, I'm going to circle back to the sustainability topic,
sure.
an area where we've been going to a lot of events this fall.
Great.
We were just at NVIDIA's, semi-annual event.
Oh, fun.
Jensen Wong was there announcing things. It's all exciting.
Amazing. Yeah.
People are driving forward, but you know what wasn't at that event? Sustainability. People were
Interesting.
not talking about sustainability. There was not one booth, not one topic in any of their sessions. And that stood out to us.
Yeah.
But you know who was there talking about sustainability was my team, Procuri's team. You know, people in our industry were there. And I would say, thank goodness that our industry
love
is
that.
showing up at these events to at least start the conversation and maybe say, guys, maybe you should have a topic on sustainability. And I think we'll see that come, but they're just not focused right there
That's
right now
great.
because they're driving growth.
Yeah.
So it is with AI, it's so crucial that
Yeah.
we make connection,
Yeah.
that we show up in person.
Yes.
Because otherwise, how are we going to connect?
How are we gonna
Everything
connect,
feels
right.
inauthentic.
Right.
And we need to find the ways to connect authentically.
Yes. Yep. That is true. That is true. Absolutely. And very visionary of you guys to know to be there, right?
We always
Just
try to
step
look
into that
around
space,
the corners. We have some people obviously working. We have a dedicated rep now for NVIDIA GPUs, and actually launched that. You were asking where should people be right now?
Yeah.
I mean, really, to be where we are now, we started focusing on GPUs about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Knowing the market wouldn't come to us for a while.
Right.
And Chris has been focused on that for 1.5 years.
That's great.
We built a super micro team now because in Q4 of last year, we saw that they become the #2 server brand in the world on the new side. And we don't see that on the used side yet,
Yeah.
but it's starting to pick up.
gonna come.
And TJ, who I introduced earlier, is doing a great job bringing in super micro hardware now.
That's amazing.
That's a tough brand. It's like, I think of it as the Baskin Robbins brand because 56 flavors,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And then you have all of your different sprinkles and toppings
right.
and the different types of cones. You can
many
configure
options.
super micro like 1,000 different ways.
Yeah.
It's not like Dell or HP where they kind of have their standard go-tos. Super
Yeah.
micro is a beast to get your arms around, but I believe our team can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. That's exciting. This is a little bit of an odd question. Not odd, but just a different take on a question. What is something that you guys would never want to hear from a team member, or something you feel like a team member shouldn't say to their leadership? Anything?
First topic is theft.
Oh,
To be honest with you, at
yeah.
that point. I mean, that's always
I mean, basically, we take security absolutely seriously. And, if there are phishes, that we send out fake emails to see if people click on them, if they do or do not. So we're doing all that right now. So first thing with theft, or destruction of company property, of course, too, as well. Those are things that I worry about because I'm a little bit different of a company versus then Corey at Alta here.
But at the same time,
But you guys
we've
are
got
saying-
secure
Yeah,
assets.
okay.
It's just
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's that physical variation versus the digital,
Right.
right? And
Right.
beyond the money, it's protecting our customers' assets, right? Those
Exactly.
digital assets, and they
Yeah.
care where the physical items go too. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
Continue.
a data breach. I mean, I take that very seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, I told you before. I mean,
Probably one of the few in the industry, other than like the Oracles and bigger names, that go through a yearly hand test, see what they can get out of it. yeah, they were paid by bounty. I think it's a little too.
I don't agree with that too much because they're going to find something, and some of the things they found I don't necessarily agree with though either.
Good
but
exercise.
Also, I want to know where the flaws are at as well too. But going back to it, like an employee,
I don't want them to ever be worried or worried about hearing something. I want them to come talk to me about anything, whether it's something about I said, did, or the direction, maybe the think the company is not going in the right direction or something. Absolutely. My door is open. I tell everyone, come to me.
no matter what's ever on your mind, even if it's not work related, you got something personal.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I don't want to hear certain
Yeah.
things, but it's like,
Oh my God.
I'm here
Yeah.
for you. So
Yeah.
Sometimes the
Doors open.
personal stuff is more important to get out,
Yeah.
like on the table, so you understand where somebody is coming from. Anyway.
And sometimes
Yeah.
they may not have someone to talk to.
Right, yeah.
Either.
Yeah.
So you're not just a leader.
Leader of within your business, you're also kind of a mentor to everyone that works for you too. And being a leader, which means that sometimes if there's something going on, they may have to air it out as well too, and you have to be ready to listen as well. I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist, don't get me wrong, but sometimes we can offer some type of advice that they may just need.
Yeah, it's a really similar thing. I never want to hear somebody say, I didn't feel like I could bring it up, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to hear that
Yeah.
for all the reasons you just listed.
Oh.
We need to know about the issues or what
Yeah.
people are dealing with, that if we can help, we want to be able to help.
Yeah.
I feel like, our people, at times as a leader, you have to be the person that they vent to. You have to be willing. I don't want people, dropping F-bombs on the floor to one another.
Yes.
But if they need to get it out in a conference room with me,
Yep.
please do, right?
Yes.
And you just get
Yes.
everything out on the table and talk about people's concerns. That's the only way you're going to get to the same page,
same page,
and to move forward that works for everybody.
Yep. Yep.
And some people just have to vent it out. And so I almost struggle to think of what someone couldn't say to me. I'd prefer they just tell me,
Right.
even if it feels coarse or awkward.
Yep.
Like, we got to get it out there, guys.
Yep.
So, in EOS, which we're an EOS company, the entrepreneurial operating system, they say if you don't have issues, you got issues. That means people aren't
True.
surfacing it. There's always something going on. If people aren't surfacing it, they're hiding it. And that doesn't work for anybody. It certainly doesn't help our customers.
Right. That's very true. I love that, you guys. That's great. So any, either advice you have for aspiring leaders, whether it's specific to IT or otherwise, and or any resources that you guys consume to continue your growth, whether it's, we've referenced a couple of podcasts or books or resources that you could share that people could listen to or follow, or any advice?
No, it's can you go find the business leaders
That you want to follow out there, or you listen to their podcasts or go read their book as well too. I think the biggest takeaway in all that is, you can go out there and do all that though. Find the right people to network with, and find the right organization in your town, in your city, your state, wherever you're at though. Don't be scared and just go out there and build your network. I think the biggest piece of advice I can give anyone is network, and also don't be scared of failure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. I'm a voracious consumer of podcasts and YouTube videos. I go down rabbit holes that people wouldn't believe, right? I listen at 2x so I can consume more. It's a little bit of a problem, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to listen to them out loud when my wife's around
right.
anymore.
I
She's
get
like,
that.
it sounds
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
chipmunk is talking, right? Put your earbuds in. But I'll go in a different direction. So, we have to slow down. I intentionally don't consume Reels and TikToks because I feel like in my position, I have to think slowly though too. So I have to consume longer form content. And I'm sure a book that I recently read that I thought was helpful, and it'd be a great thing for people to read before they go to the next BrokerBin event if they're interested, or watch a TED Talk from the sky. A few years ago, this kind of changed how I network at these events.
Okay.
I had a Vistage speaker who talked about being more interested than interesting. And I have a lot of interests,
I
right?
love
I'm
that.
always trying to find unique new things and whatever. But people don't care. If they ask me, I'll talk about it briefly.
Sure.
But to really connect with people, if you can be interested in them and focus on that first, you're going to
love
make
that, Corey.
better connections. So I've tried to show up that way, but I don't always have the tools. I read this book called Super Communicators.
Okay.
About, earlier this year at some point.
Okay.
And I love the focus of the book, which is that our lives are enriched by our relationships.
Yes.
If you have a great life, you have great relationships.
Yes.
And our relationships are built on conversation. And if you can be better at conversation, you can have better relationships and a better life. And it has incredible tools. It's
Love it.
yeah, it's a Pulitzer Prize winning writer who also wrote The Power of Habit, which is another good book. This book is phenomenal, giving you advice on the ways to think about how to ask deeper questions to get to connection quicker. And when you're at a conference like a BrokerBin conference and you're out having a drink, you talk about a lot of surface things or about the industry, which is great. But when you start asking about how people feel and what's going on in their lives, and you are constantly thinking about the questions to ask next as opposed to what you're going to say next, it's changed the dynamic of some of my conversations. And it's all about, continuing to improve personally. But I love how it's enriched personal relationships and also business relationships.
I love that.
It's a great book.
That's great. I love that. I actually thought you maybe had it sitting here, but what is this book here? Do you have another book?
Well, one of the things you said we might ask about is like how we instill values at our company. We do a lot of things here. You've walked around and seen our principles on the wall and our core values. All that's essential. I mean, you got to keep repeating yourself a lot in business. But this is a book I've recently given to all of our leaders here.
I love
the servant. It's a way to instill the concept of servant leadership. And it's just it's a quick, easy read about servant leadership to think about like that inverse pyramid and ultimately all facing our clients and serving one another.
And adding on to that question, which we didn't get to, but I mean, we can see that everywhere we look in this warehouse, in this building. And so share some of it, because I mean, there's a lot of intentionality here, a lot of it.
Yeah, well, we have our people, our values are essential to who we are. But in our recent kind of facelift of the office, we said, why don't we bring what we do into our facility? Upcycle a bunch of system boards and put our purpose statement on it to extend life and unlock value. Bring things into our facility that are really about us. Put the mural up. That's a dedication to our technicians and the work that they do. Make it fun, make it personal, bring out the personality. One of our values is real, authentic, and caring. And I introduced some people here that are absolute characters, and John Selleck and Vadim and Mike Brokowski, these guys who people in our industry love, and everyone else behind them have their unique personalities. And we just thought our facility needed more of a personality. It's not sexy, but at least it can be interesting.
It is.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of things though, and this is, I would say, I could almost see it up before. I don't know.
I think so.
What's sexy to most people is the rows and rows of servers and gear, right? We've had IT people come through and say it's like the Ministry of Magic for tech, or an IT Geek stream, or literal quotes from people. And it's all the gear that, people are impressed by. And I'm just so proud of our team to create such an organized, clean facility, because we have to move fast and have organization, and product pre-tested is what allows us to be able to deliver. And that's all the team.
And that absolutely is representative of what you're delivering to your clients, whether your clients actually ever get to see, and hopefully now they do get to see a little sneak peek of this warehouse, but whether or not they get to actually see it or not, I mean, they get that service and they receive the products and they have the relationships with the product managers.
It all works together.
I love it.
Service, the product, the work, the intentionality of it all is what makes us hum. One of the areas we invested in is quality assurance. Before my time, this was a genius step. It's a cost to most companies. We see it as an investment. We have a QA person, and their job is to double check every order. We feel like it more than doubles the reduction in RMAs. And we had the ASCDI bus tour come through, and one of our customers there, he was our salesperson of the year, because as I was showing it to 15 people, he said, that's exactly why if it's on BrokerBin, we buy it from Alta. Because they know it's going to get out. They know the product is verified, and just the percentages are better from them of delivering the right thing on time. And again, that's our team, and my job is to be a shepherd for that.
I love that.
Corey, I mean, I can see a lot of thought. I'm organized as well too. Like I said, I go into a lot of places, and one of the biggest things I always preach is organization as well too, and keeping it simple as well too. I mean, a lot of people I go to all the time is they over automate everything, and they just want to make everything so complex. And like, you gotta keep it simple, and you definitely find that out from beginning to processing. I mean, you kept it simple, you kept it clean, you kept it organized, which are just great elements to embrace and have.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just kudos to the operations leaders that make that happen. By name, some of the people who are behind us, Eugene and Pasha and Kevin and Jake. Those guys have done a phenomenal job.
Yeah, very impressive. Very impressive. Okay, I have one last question for you guys. This is kind of fun. So tell me what your most outlandish idea is for a team building event.
You know, my problem is I come up with these ideas like last minute, and then we try to execute on it, and it's like it's pretty good, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
You
guys do a lot.
Okay. Well, one of the things that we recently did, you might have seen the video on LinkedIn, is that we saw the World Server Throwing Competition, which is a real thing, was coming to the United States. That at the Cloud Fest in Miami, they were going to have this competition, and I was like, well, that'd be a lot of fun. We tried to actually sponsor it. It was already fully sold out for sponsoring because, I mean, it's so fun.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Exactly.
And but we were like, well, we are sending people to that. Absolutely. And we've got some great, strong, guys and that are committed. And so they put practice into throwing servers back in our parking lot. We're talking 1U servers.
I love it.
They put on gloves to be safe. And you have to keep your front leg planted so nobody really gets hurt.
There's all kinds of rules.
And they're heavy. They're like 25-pound servers. They're not totally empty.
Yeah.
And you have to have a lot of available servers, which we do, right, from our scrap pile, the ones that wouldn't work to throw, because when you throw them, they tend to explode. So that's an interesting byproduct of it all. But then we held a qualifier here. And that was such a fun event. We do a lot of barbecues, especially obviously in the summer.
Yeah.
And we had a barbecue in September where we had people sign up for a server throwing competition. And we had a blast. I think we had like 13, 14 people sign up, and everybody else just watching, cheering it on. It was so fun. I didn't expect it. I think part of it is like we deal with this equipment all the time, and it gives us our frustrations.
Yeah.
So you can get it out by chucking a server.
Yeah.
And then we sent 2 people on to the competition, and actually our salesperson, Ryan, our ITAD partner manager, he won completely on technique, because he's about my size, and he was up the number 2 guy in that division was a 7 foot, 315 pound, super fit guy.
Oh my gosh.
Finished a half inch behind Ryan. And so we celebrated the heck out of Ryan when he came back. We have a trophy up front for him. And it was just a lot of fun to have the U.S. server throwing champion here at Alta, who I thought was going to take it, was Eugene, our operations director. He's a huge guy, and he practiced like every day. He lost by half an inch. And he feels like maybe the judges kind of favored the other. I don't know.
Shoot.
I'm not going to say. There's a little controversy, but they both had an awesome showing out there.
That's great.
So fun.
This reminds me of, have you guys seen those rooms where, is it like a rage room or something where people go in and they smash? And I have thought many times when I've seen those, like, I wonder if they're getting stuff from our member, like scrap, like where are they getting? Because it's like old server, computer,
cool.
do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And they go in these rooms and smash them and
Take out the rage.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, okay.
So I did see that video on LinkedIn, and I was going to ask about that too. So kudos to that. I did not know you guys won that, but no, that's awesome to hear too. So I definitely want to see that trophy for sure. It's a little bit difficult for me because IQ is completely a virtualized company.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in Detroit. I got another employee in Michigan as well too. I got 3 here. I got 2 in Florida. I got 1 in Connecticut.
I guess I'm in Europe as well too, as Asia too, as well too. You just can't get everyone together. Best I can do is kind of get us to come together on the calls though too. But one of the things that I do like to do is, of course, because I get to see everyone's addresses, I can send them stuff in the mail and surprise them, So that's my creative idea that I have the ability to do. So being remote sometimes has its disadvantages with it, but you have to be creative with it. But Corey, I will say we'll take the icing on the cake for this one, because I do see all that postings of you guys do, and it's definitely incredible.
You got to have fun in this business, right? It's hard work, and
it is.
If you don't have fun in this business, don't.
Sure.
Yeah.
Don't even come.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be long days, long hours. But you got to find the fun.
But I love that surprise element. You guys are
that's
doing
great.
great stuff.
That's great. I love that.
The challenge is though, sometimes they found my address somehow, and I have random stuff show up at my house. I'm like, you guys definitely can't. At that point, I did a really good job for the longest time of hiding when my birthday was. I never told no one. And then when I hired Stacy on board, she never saw an ITAD. So of course, because she was local to me, and I ran an ITAD out of Detroit, and they're still in business. And I called them up. I said, can you guys give us a tour to see what's going on? And somebody there had shared the same birthday. And we did it at the same time. And I'm just like, crap. So the word did get out. So I do have some random stuff.
Come on, John. You probably kind of hate it, but kind of love it too.
I don't like receiving gifts at all. I like giving them out. I actually feel more awkward of someone who's like, what do I do with this, than anything else. But I have no problem
giving. Yeah, that's great. Well, you guys, this was so fun. Thank you so much for hosting, Corey. Amazing. This setup is incredible. I hope we get like some sort of
phenomenal.
like view of this whole setup. This is amazing.
We had VIPs in the house. We didn't want to scrimp and save on the production.
That's sweet. This is very amazing. Very amazing.
I know when I got off that plane and walked in, saw it back here, I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
I was like, this is impressive.
Yeah.
It was an honor to have you guys here too. So it was special for us. And
so fun.
Appreciate
so
it.
fun. Tell everybody where we can find Alta and IQ Reseller. Or how they can be in touch
Go to
with you.
BrokerBin and tick the find us first.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
We always do appreciate it, guys. But we're at altatechnologies.com, and we post a lot at our LinkedIn as well. So just keep connecting with our team.
Yep. Great.
So same, you can go to BrokerBin and find IQ Reseller on there as well too. You can always go to IQReseller.com to learn more about what we do, what our ERP does for the industry as well too. But I also want to say that I welcome anyone to reach out to me as well. Go to my LinkedIn. My email is john@IQReseller.com. From there, I'll even give you my cell phone number to where we can have conversations. But if you want to pick my brain, even if you're not a customer of IQ Reseller, I'm A-okay. I tell people all the time,
Love it.
is reach out to me if you got questions. Just reach out to me if you want to pick my brain all the time. And I do have a lot of companies in this space reach out to me all the time saying, hey, what do I want to do? Or, hey, I want to branch off into this section. What do you think I can do? I mean, they come to me all the time.
Time to share that they need a job, problems they have. I mean, just like for my employees, I'm an open door for them too.
Yeah, I love it. And you've got a really unique perspective into the industry as well.
Yeah.
Be able to share. So
I concur with that.
yeah,
I would say the same thing
yeah.
for, we talked about new leaders. Like if you want to talk through that new opportunity, would love to, even if you just need to voice something, you want perspective on the industry, anyone, same as John. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah. Thanks,
This
Renee.
is incredible.
For hosting.
It was fun.
So fun.
All right.
So fun.
Take care.
Go
Thanks
Pack.
for flying in.
No, thank you for this. So, thank you.
Thanks again for Corey at Alta Technologies and John at IQ Reseller for joining the podcast. TradeIQ is a production of BrokerBin, the leading global trading community for IT Lifecycle professionals. Subscribe to TradeIQ for new episodes as we share the economic stories of IT hardware resale from industry leaders who work tirelessly to expand asset lifecycles and eliminate e-waste. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on TradeIQ from BrokerBin.com.